I think it is important to appreciate that some of these products are new. In fact, for some of us who've participated in the development of the laws, the regulations, the guidelines under the FCTC, there are times whereby you see hesitancy on the part of governments that are very data-driven. Where they say, we need all the evidence. There are countries who are saying, hey, evidence or no evidence, as we will gather the evidence, we know it is a tobacco. If it behaves like a tobacco, treat it like any other tobacco product. So usually a document that is internationally produced is a consensus text that is a product of many give and take processes. But the reality of it is that the regulations for the new tobacco products is not as comprehensive as, of course, the cigarettes, mainly, which are or the products that are consumed through smoking, cigarettes, snuff, you know, and even those that are chewed. But mainly, when you look at the FCTC, the main focus is on cigarettes. But you realize that tobacco products are actually go beyond the cigarettes. The spirit of the Tobacco Control Act, if you really look at it, is that because of the conclusive evidence, you see, conclusive scientific evidence on the impact of tobacco products on the lives of the people, then governments took measures. Just imagine, this is the only product that has a global treaty because of its impact on public health. So the Article 5.3 talks about warning governments that there is irreconcilable interest between the tobacco industry and public health. So when the tobacco industry is talking about tax holidays, Section 12, for example, of the Tobacco Control Act obligates the ministry responsible for finance to take tax and price policies to reduce the consumption of tobacco products. It goes against the very spirit of even Article 6 of the WHO FCTC, that this is not an industry that should be given incentives for them to prosper. In fact, there are better use of tools like incentives towards promoting economics and the welfare of the people, and the tobacco industry should be the last in the priorities of governments. Even with the fact that there is no much data that has been generated on the new products, unlike, for example, past products. But knowing tobacco and tobacco products. In fact, when you read the tobacco control, it is not a control of cigarettes. It is a control of tobacco products. So looking at the scientific evidence and that has concluded for the need of governments to protect the health of their citizens, then it is going to be an oxymoron or a contradiction to have a government to actually give incentives to an industry that produces products that everybody knows that if they are consumed as they are prescribed by the manufacturers, the outcomes are clear, and that is destruction on the part of the health of the public. So the study done by the Tax Justice Network shows actually that there are instruments that facilitates illicit financial flows, transfer pricing, tax evasion, and tax avoidance. And some of them includes double taxation agreements. So if you have a double taxation agreement between Kenya, for example, together with the Netherlands, so they declare profits in the Netherlands, knowing that it's a low tax jurisdiction, and they declare losses in Kenya. BAT, I think in 2015, I wish I could quote the exact amount, but we lost billions as a result of them transferring and reporting or declaring their dividends in the Netherlands. The same happened in Zambia. And when you look at that report from the Tax Justice Network, it tells you that there are a plethora of legal loopholes that the tobacco industry uses. And remember, when you look, for example, at BAT Kenya, the way it is structured, it's manufactures in Kenya. It is a Kenyan-based company, but it is manufacturing for over 16 African countries. So the ability to manipulate the different legal frameworks that exist within the region for their own benefit is also something that tax and fiscal authorities have to put into bear when they are devising and they're examining the level of corporate tax that these companies are paying because of their nature of operations. So it is important that when we are having the discussion on taxation, we not only look at even the taxes on the products, but we also look at the corporate taxes that are paid by these companies, because governments are actually have an obligation to provide services, have an obligation to take care of public goods, and they do it through the taxes that are paid by the individuals and the different corporates. And we want everybody to pay their fair share of taxes. And even for advocacy organizations like the NTA, in the analysis of the taxes that the industry pays, it is good to also get the facts right, because at times the industry misrepresents and overestimates actually what they are paying or what they are saying that they've paid as taxes. Well, excise tax, for example, is not a tax paid by the industry. Excise tax is a transfer from the consumers to the government. So we have to deconstruct the narrative and put the industry where it belongs. And that's why such conversations are very important, so that we educate the members of the public and ensure that they get the right picture and the right representation of actually who the industry is. I think when they are doing the evaluation and the examinations, over and above, for example, the tools that they've deployed to curb and to fight illicit trade, like, for example, the track and tracing, the electronic goods management system, the EGMS, all those tools are important. But even more important is the ability to build a caliber and a cadre of staff who have the technical know-how to do the evaluation and to ascertain the practices that on the corporate side are leading to transfer prices, that are leading to tax avoidance, which at times is tax avoidance. Other people see it as legal, yet immoral. But in my view, when we are talking about illicit financial flow, I believe one of the things we should add there is both tax avoidance and also tax evasion, because both of them at the end of the day reduce what you call the domestic revenue mobilization efforts that are made by the fiscal authorities. So build the capacity, build partnership, leverage on technology, strengthen the laws and policies, and finally collaborate with the different jurisdictions, because what is the point of Uganda having a different fiscal regime for the same company that is operating within that is based in Kenya? So the best is collaborate, so that we do not have a situation whereby they play the countries, exploit the legal loopholes, make more profits through the sales of more of their products, which again leaves us with less taxes and a bigger public health burden. The COVID-19 scenario showed you very clearly that a public health issue is a developmental issue. So get the conversation right and get the complete conversation. Because currently when the tobacco industry is talking about tax holidays, they're coming in as a stakeholder. They're coming in as a stakeholder wanting to support maybe job creation and the rejuvenation of the economy. If you don't have a good capacity in the policy level to be able to see and actually deconstruct these narratives, then you have a situation whereby policies will be taken emotively rather than with the knowledge and with the facts that are required for the advancement of the greater good, and that is the welfare and the public health. And you know, the health of the people is actually the wealth of the nation. If a country like Australia that has no neighbors, when you look at where it is located, is still struggling with illicit trade, tells you that it's not a one-day journey. Even as we invest in technology, as we put in good policies, as we build capacity, as we strengthen collaboration, as we've done the great and the fantastic job Kerry has done, actually even went ahead in implementation ahead of even the regime and the laws being put in place. It tells you that should be celebrated, supported, and actually given accolades. but at the same time calling for vigilance. You remember we have porous borders. You look at the border between Kenya and Somalia, and you know the challenges that Somalia is going. We have a long border between Kenya and Ethiopia. The borders Kenya and South Sudan, and you can see the volatility and the challenges with South Sudan, Uganda, and then also with Tanzania. So when you look at all that together, that usually illicit trade has a function of many things. One of them includes the integrity, or if I can put it in the opposite side, if you have a corrupt fiscal officers, they will actually facilitate the process, even with very good technology and systems in place. So there is no magic bullet. We should not have a silo approach in terms of where we are seeing that one magic bullet will help us deliver what we would want. It is deploy all the tools required, people, systems, processes, structures, laws, policies, public knowledge, the public, even the public need to be recruited in this campaign so that they know very well that we are part of a greater narrative that is meant for the greater good of our health. Because even if you have good systems and the public are not supportive, what happens? They will work to counter the same. So basically, that is how I would summarize on how we can get illicit trade, the fight against illicit trade, particularly on tobacco products, right, even as we leverage on the ITP, together with as we update different laws and regimes, and we also share our stories to inspire other countries. So that together we can be not only a healthy nation, but also a health and a wealth continent.